Welcome back to yet another Sunday, rainy Sunday session. Let's talk about it. Mindset. On Sundays like to bring this up. I think this is such a crucial element. These videos always get the least amount of views, and it kind of breaks my heart because this is the stuff we should be talking about. Someone asked me to share my story. Now, I'm not going to bother you with 6 hours of my story. I'm happy to share pieces of it. But I was thinking about it over the weekend. Someone asked me basically, how did you get into, investing, or where did that sort of start? Like, were you born into it? No, definitely not. My dad was not a fan of the stock market, of investing. He was a fan of working really hard. He was an immigrant to Canada, and I learned my work ethic from him, and I'm eternally grateful for it. That said, to invest or have money, money make money was not a concept that we ever talked about, ever thought about. It wasn't something that I was born into. 2, did I go to school for it? Did I go to university or college or something for finance or anything of that nature, business? No, didn't go to college at all, didn't go to university, got out of high school and ran away from any kind of classroom as fast as I could and never found myself back in a traditional classroom. I went on the oil rigs, worked blue collar. But here's where the moment that really made this real for me is I was 25-ish. I was working on the oil rigs at the time, which if you're not familiar with oil rigs, all you got to know is it sucks. It was like the most depressing 5 years of my life. I was super unhappy at 25. I was almost daily doing some kind of painkiller, typically Oxy. That was kind of like the drug of choice up there because it wasn't as obvious when you were high. Drinking pretty much every single day and taking the traditional route, making about $100,000 a year. Pretty good for a 25-year-old. Bought a brand new Jeep, financed with minimum down, and got in a condo just outside of Vancouver, which, if you know Vancouver, it's a pretty pricey city. So had the mortgage, had the car payments, had the lifestyle, had the motorcycle on payments as well. And I remember moving into my place and probably within a week, instantly feeling sick to my stomach, realizing that I just traded my freedom of, creativity, expression, of really building a life I really wanted to be proud of. I wanted to be proud of it. For golden handcuffs, repayments to bank, mortgages, car payments, and a job I hated. And when I saw other people who were 20 years ahead of me in that job, they were all broken families, broken marriages, kids didn't know them, and they were super unhappy, on drugs, and looked 50 years older than they actually were. And I had a moment of what have I done? I can't just work hard. This does not end well for me. We all die. We will not be here in 50, 60, 70 years. What kind of life do you want to live from now till then? And so many of us choose to hold golden handcuffs. I did. Or the instant gratification of, I'll just get this on payments, and now I'm kind of stuck in my job. That is literally how the system is designed. And that's when I was like, this is not okay, and I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. Started learning about finance, learning about business, reading books, actually being there are people out there who figured this out. Let me learn from them. Was not long after that, probably a couple months after that I quit the rigs, had to sell the house. By the way, I went from miserable, suicidal, black and white, seeing the world black and white, super depressed, to selling my place, selling my car, dropping my lifestyle way down. You'd think I'd get more miserable. For the first time in a long time, I felt freedom. I felt happy. I felt excited that I was actually doing something that was meaningful to me, that I was going to build a life that I was proud of. And it was extremely exciting. I feel like I didn't lose anything. And you know what the worst part about all this was? I'm going to share this as well. People around me, friends, family, mom, dad, I remember them being like, I'm so proud of you. I bought the house, I got the mortgage, I had the brand new Jeep that I drove off the dealership that I overpaid for and probably lost $15,000 the moment I drove out of the dealership, which $15,000 to me back then was a big deal. I didn't know any better. They were all like, I'm so proud of you. And when I looked in the mirror, I hated myself. Hated everything about me. Hated the decisions I made, hated my life, hated everything. That was probably the most painful piece of it. I felt like I was, like something was wrong with me, I should be proud of myself. And 2, I was living a lie. I wasn't living my full expression. I wasn't living the life that I was meant to be living, and I knew it, yet I was a coward. I chose the time for money trap. And when I quit the rigs and was trying to figure life out on my own, I remember the most valuable thing I learned was invest in the skill set that you want to naturally develop. Get so good at your craft, which at the time for me was personal training, because I was big jacked on the rigs and I was teaching other people how to get big and jacked. And so I said, okay, let me double down and get really good at this big and jacked game and teaching other people, and let me master my craft. And within a year and a half, I replaced my old rig income with personal trading income, which was $100,000 a year, which was a really big deal. Right? All the other, many personal traders in the city were reaching out to me being like, how did you do that? And, from there, everything, that was like the pivotal moment where I was like, ooh, I can do something. I'll start by investing in myself. And then eventually when I was making money, I started investing it in skill sets. And eventually I started investing it into markets, started in traditional markets, then started investing in businesses that I was building, started investing in crypto and DeFi when I discovered the returns. Now we have multiple DeFi portfolios, probably a sizable DeFi portfolios that print me more than I used to make on the rigs, times like 10. Over my, short career, so to speak, I branched off on my own about 10, 11 years ago. I've seen $400,000 months. That's $400,000 of cash flow that goes to me. And what's really interesting about this is the more you make, the less you even think about money. And the more you think about personal evolution, mastery, growing as a human being, and developing in different areas of your life. I'm sharing all this. I take my story for granted, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's just my story. But so many people when I talk to, they are inspired by the story of like, hey, so you went from no education, oil rig worker, golden handcuffs, mortgage, saw your life wasn't the life you wanted, and you made a decision, which it was, an actual decision to cut off, to die, to change. And I'm not claiming that I'm perfect, top of the mountain. In fact, I feel like I'm just getting started. Like I got so many more skills to master and so many more things to learn. But I make most of my day and most of my life around mastering skill sets, investing in myself, also investing in markets, investing in businesses, but constantly investing. Put another way, most people in life are consumers. I chose to be a creator. That does not mean you have to be online or have an online business, but like literally creating, solving problems creatively for people, even if you're in a job or you're commissioned or you're a contractor, I don't care. It's not about starting a business, but you're creatively solving people's problems. And the more problems you solve, the more you get paid. And the bigger problems you solve, the bigger you get paid. I woke up yesterday and we had some pretty big problems. And I found myself getting like a little discouraged and a little bit upset about it. I'm like, oh, really? Like these are some new problems and these are pretty big problems. And then I remembered, I will get paid in proportion to the problems I solve, period. And most people run from problems. They run from challenges. You can see that when the markets turn, they run from it when that's the greatest opportunity. I'm going to end it there. In the comments, let me know if you want me to expand on any of this. Our audio experience, CryptoLabs Research /podcast. Highly recommend checking out their 5-minute per day kind of sound episodes or audio experiences. And we talk a lot about this kind of stuff. The podcast was inspired to like help create a daily anchor for people to kind of tune into, tap into, and see kind of that subconscious change. Through repetition, we can change the subconscious. So yes, the podcast, a lot of it is around crypto DeFi, but a lot of it is also around this. And if you're in the UIG, jump into the mindset section. Our Monday money mindset calls on Mondays. Show up to them. They are becoming one of the more popular calls that we hold in the UIG. And a lot of people message me after saying, this makes the UIG completely worth it. This is the key, the piece that is keeping you and me from the next level of life. I invested $150,000 so far this year, probably a little more, into coaches and mentors to help expand this. And the more I make, the more I invest in it. Within the UIG, we wanted to create something that was accessible to everyone, yet we could still deliver that level of value. So that's up to you, but I highly recommend you join those Monday mindset /money calls. Check out the UIG calendar and RSVP to the call. Let's jam. I got a really good session planned for tomorrow. And with that said, I'm gonna get out of here, finish my walk, contemplate life. I'm big on Neville Goddard, so I use Sundays to visualize the next week to the detail of the week and how the week will unfold. I visualize and kind of move into the scene of the dream life or the next vision or the next expansion into the vision. And so I kind of visualize and I walk the beach and I get into the frequency. I get excited for it. I tune into how it will feel. And then I do my best to carry that note throughout the day, throughout the week. I found that to be really the secret of manifestation and the secret to creation and creating a beautiful life you love. Happy to jam on that stuff more. And by the way, that is the topic for tomorrow's Monday call. And it's cool to see how much more people expand in DeFi and financial abundance when they actually tune into that kind of work. So cheering for you. I hope you take it seriously. If not, all good. Stay tuned to this channel. A lot of free videos. We got over 600 videos now on this channel and a daily podcast episode. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let me know how else I can serve you. And with that said, we'll talk soon. Peace.